Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a first look at League of Legends' newest bot lane champion, who is Nilah, of course. Will she be able to compete with Zeri for the most overloaded kit, or is she going to fall a bit flat? That's what we're going to find out today. So let's start by checking out her abilities so you know exactly what you're going to be getting when patch 12.13 drops. Of course, we're going to start with her passive, Joy Unending, first. This is probably the most broken part of her kit. Basically, Nilah amplifies healing and shielding around her, so if her ally shields or heals Nilah, that ally grants a bonus shield or heal. And if the ally heals or shields themselves, then Nilah gains a bonus to heal or shield. But wait, there is a second part of this passive. If Nilah is the one to last hit a minion, she and her nearest ally will gain the normal amount of shared experience plus half of the experience that would have been lost due to sharing. Boom. Nilah's going to level up super quickly. Love it. So that makes us think that you're probably going to want to play Nilah alongside enchanters. Imagine a Saraku, Lulu, Yana with Nilah. Pretty crazy stuff, right? We thought the same thing. But that's just what the passive was intended for. Anyway, let's move on to those abilities. Her Q, Formless Blade, is pretty standard. There are two parts to this. An active, which lets her strike in a line, damaging enemies that are hit. And by hitting an enemy, her attack range and speed will increase slightly for a short period of time, and her basic attacks will be empowered, hitting in a cone to deal additional damage. So her passive seems a bit nutty on this ability, doesn't it? Because her attacks and abilities against champions ignore some of their armor and heal Nilah for part of the damage dealt. So excess healing is converted into a shield. Right, let's move on to her W, Jubilant Veil, which is just a worse version of Gwen's W. With this ability, Nilah shrouds herself in a veil and gains movement speed, and she takes reduced damage. Basic attacks get dodged as well. Also, she can touch allies to give them a shroud. Okay, her E, Slipstream. This is her dash. She can dash through targets and damage enemies that she passes through. This ability can store 2 charges at once, so if you cast your Q during this ability, you'll pull a wave with you that will also damage opponents. You'll also gain the enhanced basic attack effect from the Q's passive. Basically, this is similar to Samira and her EQ combo, so if you're used to Samira, this is going to be a breeze for players like you. One thing to note here is that this is not a dash you can escape fights from with, since you always need a target to dash through when you're using it, so just a heads up there so you're always aware. Finally, her ultimate, Apotheosis. This is an AoE burst which lets her whip her weapon around and summon a huge circle of water which pulls enemies to the center. This ability looks a lot like an Orianna ult, but with more watery flair. So not only does it do burst damage, it also heals Nilah for a part of the damage dealt, and it scales with crit, so you'll be sure to quickly build that Infinity Edge when playing Nilah. Hopefully you can understand her a bit better now. Overall, she doesn't look completely overloaded, but we'll have to see her on live servers to truly know where she stands. But one thing's for sure, she's going to be hella fun to play. So until next time, have a great time trying out Nilah.